So when is the right time to buy a house? It's when no one else is buying. It's my favorite time to buy a house. The buying process is pretty standard, but there's a lot of nuances with it here in Salt Lake. So let's get into it. The first step is assessing your financial situation. This involves evaluating your current home, how much equity you have in it, how much money you are going to be able to put down total on the new home. Also, what does your debt to income look like? What is your payment on the new home going to look like? And what sort of price range are you going to be comfortable with the equity and your debt to income that you'll be able to purchase on the new home? We also will assess your goals, whether you are looking for the perfect property or maybe you want something that's more of an investment where we can find a home with a lower interest rate for you or offset your mortgage with something like an ADU. The next step, we want to be sure that you're pre-approved for a loan. Now, I've seen big mistakes with people using certain lenders that did not pre-approve them properly. Well, the first thing is they just talked to you verbally. They didn't gather any sort of documentation. And what they found out later down the road is that your income did not match the documentation. A safe lender, we have several that we trust. And when they talk to you, they ask all the right questions. They gather all the pertinent information. And when they do that, we end up helping you find a home that you are pre-approved for. And you end up not going down the road of trying to buy something, losing money that you really can't get. One of my favorite lenders will call you up and will actually give you lots of options and review those options for you. Those options can include higher interest rates, lower interest rates, higher closing costs, lower closing costs, and they'll be able to help you assess which product looks the best for you. Now, when it's time to house hunt, we are going to not only analyze what is currently on the market, but we're going to analyze what has been on the market. So when we're looking for a home, we aren't only looking at what's currently on the market, we're going to also look at if it actually exists and what are the odds of it popping up again. Almost all of our clients only need to see 7 homes. If you're seeing 8 homes or more, you're doing something wrong with the process. It should never take looking at 30 homes to find your house to buy. Most buyers will just send homes to their agent and say, show me this, without proper research. And then through the process, they're not asking the right questions to really find out what the buyer wants. In 2021, it was rough. You basically were going to overpay $100,000 above appraisal on the house and give them everything in order to get the house. Sellers today are now actually almost begging you to buy their house. Why is this? Well, it's because demand is back to 2009 levels. What are people buying today? Most people are going to be buying homes that are fixed up, remodeled, and new because sellers are more willing to negotiate now than they have in a long time. Once we agree to terms with a seller on a home and it's signed and executed, we are under contract. It is off to the next 2 phases, getting your loan done and doing an inspection on the home. Is an inspection on the home necessary? Definitely. This could save you a lot of money and a lot of headache if you do your inspection on the property. There's a lot of different types of inspections you can do on the property. You can do the general inspection. You can also do a meth test. You can do a mold test. You can also do a radon test. And one of the other common ones lately is checking the sewer line to see if it needs to be replaced or cleaned out. Those are the most common tests that people will do when evaluating a home. It is definitely recommended to do all of those tests when evaluating a home for sale. Once you get the inspections, it's time to renegotiate. You can either do 2 things. 1, you can ask them to actually fix certain things, or 2, you can ask for a credit of money back and then you can fix it yourself. Yeah, it's best just to take money and then you don't have to worry about them doing shoddy work and you actually get something and you don't have to redo it again. One of the tricks on making your offer look more advantageous is there's a clause that after the inspection deadline, a certain amount of money would go non-refundable to the seller. This is great for the seller because the seller sees your offer as less risky. So if you're convinced that your financial situation is safe, that you are going to get a loan on the place no matter what, then doing this clause will just give the seller some incentive to taking your offer. Now, there is a protection for you still. If the home doesn't appraise, that money does not become non-refundable. You get to keep that money. So with the financing and appraisal deadline, if the home doesn't appraise, you don't have to buy it. And at that point, we can renegotiate with the seller on a new price. After we finish all that, hey, we are gonna go to settlement and prepare for closing. Now, one thing to remember is that settlement is not closing. People will often refer to closing as when you sign documents. That is not closing, that is settlement. Closing occurs when the funding takes place and it's recorded with the county. So if you want to strategize on when you can be able to move in, you'll want settlement on Wednesday or Thursday so that you can have the weekend to move in. For the last 20 years, I've had clients use our moving trucks when they buy a home to move into their house. If I like you, yeah, we'll probably let you use one too. And, this is the part where I'll end up getting paid, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to like you that day.